Hello everyone. My name is Audrey and I'm 42 years old. I live in a quiet suburban neighborhood with my husband Jonathan and my stepson. Sebastian's life here is mostly peaceful, but I often feel a deep sense of loneliness in my marriage. Jonathan, my husband, is a corporate lawyer, and his career demands a lot of his time and attention. He's constantly busy with back-to-back meetings, late nights at the office, and endless deadlines that seem to never relent. As much as I understand the pressures and responsibilities that come with till the finish, since this tale will be quite intriguing. There was a time when Jonathan and I were closely linked, sharing laughter, dreams, and personal moments. We had built a life together, but the spark faded. Together filled with love and companionship. But somewhere along the way, the spark faded. Our nights grew colder and quieter, filled with silence, rather than the warm conversations we used to have. I often lie awake staring at the ceiling, reflecting on what went wrong. Despite everything, I found myself longing for warmth that I couldn't seem to find in our relationship anymore. Before starting the story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more captivating tales that explore the depths of human emotions and relationships. A few days later, while my husband Jonathan was out for another late-night meeting, I found myself once again alone at home. The house felt eerily quiet, the stillness almost palpable, and my thoughts consumed me as I reflected on the electrifying encounter I had with my stepson Sebastian not long ago. It was a moment that had awakened feelings I had buried deep within me for far too long. I had missed the thrill of being growing, the bath desired of feeling truly alive in a way that had long been absent from my life. In a desperate attempt to ease the tension that had been building within me, I decided to take a long, relaxing bath, filled the tub with warm water, and lit a few scented candles, allowing the soft glow and fragrant steam to envelop me, creating an atmosphere of tranquility. The soothing warmth of the water caressed my skin as I sank into the tub, my body relaxing into the comforting embrace of the warm water. Yet my mind drifted back to Sebastian. The way his hands had explored my body, the passion in his kisses, the way he made me feel so alive and so desired. It was intoxicating, and the memory sent a rush of heat coursing through me. I closed my eyes, imagining his touch and the desire that had sparked between us. The warmth of the water mixed with the warmth in my core as I recalled the way he had looked at me, his gaze filled with longing and something deeper. A part of me was bored. The knock terrified, but another part craved that thrill, that connection. I was drawn to him like a moth to a flame, and I couldn't shake the feelings that had begun to awaken inside me. Suddenly I heard a soft knock at the bathroom door and my heart raced as I quickly sat up. Water sloshed around me. "So who is it?" I said, trying to seem casual, but I could hear the trembling in my voice. "It's me, Sebastian," he said, his voice silky and inviting, and I felt a thrill rush through me at the sound of his voice, my pulse quickening. "What do you want?" I inquired, keeping my tone light despite the excitement bubbling within me. "I wanted to check on you." "You've been in here a while," he said, and I could hear the concern mixed with something else that made my heart race even faster. I took a moment to compose myself, attempting to push the feelings aside, but the anticipation was electric. "I'm fine," I said, "just having a wash, my cheeks." The image of him standing outside the door caused a period of stillness before he inquired again, "Can I come?" "I only want to see you." My heart skipped a beat as I realized he was standing outside the door, and I felt an urge to let him in before I could respond. He opened the door, stepping inside with a confident stride. As I took in his appearance, his tousled hair, the fitted t-shirt clinging to his chest, and those piercing blue eyes that seemed to see right through me, I felt exposed in ways I had never expected. "I thought you might want some company," he remarked, his gaze moving to the candles flickering around the room. I was caught away by his bravado, feeling the air tighten with tension. "I'm not sure whether," I stammered. "That's a terrific idea," I mumbled, my heart beating as I attempted to remain composed despite the fact that every part of me wanted to sketch. "Come on, we're alone only for him." A little while, he urged, taking a step closer. I could feel the heat radiating from him, and the tension in the air thickened, igniting something deep within me. The longing that had built up within me over the past few days flared back to life, and I felt an uncontrollable desire to be near him. I could already feel the weight of his desire, and it made my pulse quicken. "Okay," I finally whispered, surprising myself with my own boldness, but only for a little while. As he stepped, "I couldn't help but wonder what it would be like to join you in there," he said, his voice low and teasing, sending shivers down my spine. I swallowed deeply, my heart thumping with anticipation as I envisioned that scenario. "What if Jonathan comes home?" I asked, trying to sound practical, but secretly wanting him to ignore my concern. "Then we'll just have to be quiet," he suggested, his smirk widening as he leaned in closer. I hesitated, the warmth of his body radiating against my skin before I could respond. He reached out his fingers, grazing my arm, igniting a fire within me. "Please just let me in," he said, his voice laced with longing that echoed in my heart. I hesitated, caught between the thrill of desire and the weight of my conscience, but the thrill of his touch was too much to resist. I murmured, my voice shaky, but just for a moment without another word. Sebastian stood up, shedding his t-shirt and stepping into the tub beside me. The warm water swirled around us as our bodies drew closer, and the intimate setting heightened the electricity in the air. I felt the world outside fade away as we locked gazes, the water splashing around us, his body inches from mine. "This feels nice," he said softly, his fingers brushing against my thigh. My breath hitching, igniting a fire within me that I had long thought extinguished. "It does," I replied, my breath hitching as he moved closer. Our bodies now mere inches apart. In that moment, the tension broke, and he leaned in, capturing my lips with his kiss. Was soft at first, a gentle exploration of unspoken desire, but it quickly deepened as passion surged between us. My hands found their way to his shoulders, pulling him in closer as I melted against him. Feeling the warmth of the water enveloped us, our kisses became more urgent, a dance of longing and desire that felt like a release from the loneliness I had been feeling for so long. I could feel his hands roaming over my back, then my chest, and he pressed my chest and started kissing there, igniting sensations I had long forgotten. The intoxicating thrill of being so close to him was almost overwhelming, and I surrendered to it. "Sebastian," I gasped between kisses. The fire between us was becoming hotter, threatening to devour us both. He said, his lips traveling down my neck, sending thrills down my spine. "Just enjoy this." I closed my eyes, lost in the sensations he was generating. Every kiss, every touch felt like fire, awakening something deep within me. My fingers twisted in his hair as he brought me closer, our bodies melding together as if we were made for this moment. With each, the world outside faded completely, leaving only the two of us tangled together in the warm water. My heart raced as his hands explored my body, trailing down my arms and back up to my face, holding me tenderly as our kisses grew more passionate and desperate. "God, I've wanted this for so long," he breathed, his lips brushing against mine before deepening the kiss again. "Me too," I admitted, feeling vulnerable, yet exhilarated by the intensity of the moment, and I held on to him tightly, feeling a rush of excitement as his hands wandered, exploring my body in ways that made me feel alive. The boundaries I had established for myself started to dissolve, and I surrendered to the intensity of the moment. I also held his tool. It made him feel so fantastic, and he grabbed my body washed in his hand and carefully applied it to my old body as his hand slowly slid down towards my hips, the water splashing around us, enhancing the feelings until a loud bang broke through the moment, and we both stopped. I heard the unmistakable sound of the front door opening, and my heart fell, Jonathan. I mumbled, terror filling my senses. Sebastian swiftly broke away, his eyes wild as we both raced to recover our bearings. "What do we do?" he questioned, his voice strained with desperation. I whispered, "Hi." We swiftly shifted, crouching behind the shower curtain, hearts beating as we held our breath, praying Jonathan would not enter the bathroom. He moved, and I could hear it, through the house calling out, "Audrey, are you hearing the tension?" As we stood there huddled, feeling the heat radiating off each other, my heart raced not only from fear but also from the thrill of what had just happened. I could feel Sebastian's warm breath on my neck, and the adrenaline coursed through my veins. Jonathan stepped into the bathroom, and I squeezed my eyes shut, hoping we wouldn't get caught. He began to wash his hands completely at the sink. My body was still humming from the encounter, and I felt exhilarated by the danger of it all. "Do you want to continue?" he asked, his gaze intense and filled with longing. I hesitated, knowing the risks involved, but also feeling the undeniable pull toward him. "Yes," I whispered, my voice barely audible. We stepped out from behind the curtain, our eyes locked, the tension crackling in the air. I took a step toward him. My heart was that it couldn't be denied, and I was ready to embrace it no matter the consequences. I could feel the urgency in his movements as he kissed me deeply, and I surrendered to the moment, allowing myself to feel everything I had been holding back for so long. A few days later, it was late afternoon, and the sun streamed through the kitchen window as I prepared dinner. The scent of sautéed vegetables filled the air, a stark contrast to the lingering excitement from our last encounter. Sebastian's familiar footsteps filled the kitchen, bringing a cheeky smile to my face. "Hey, what smells so good?" he remarked, leaning on the counter, just preparing dinner. I answered, trying to keep my cool, "How was your day, lengthy and boring?" He continued, his eyes glinting with mischief. "But it's better now that I'm here." I inquired, curiosity pe. "What do you mean?" He went closer to his. His presence warmed the already cozy kitchen. "I mean, being here with you always makes my day better," he said, his voice low and inviting. The way he gazed at me caused butterflies to flutter in my stomach, sparking a memory of our cherished moments spent together. I turned back to the stove to appear busy, but my heart raced. "You're just saying that," I replied, attempting to deflect the intensity of his gaze. "No, I'm serious." He insisted on moving even closer until he was just behind me. "I can't stop thinking about you, about us." His words filled me with excitement, and I couldn't resist glancing over my shoulder at him. "Sebastian, we can't keep doing this. It's complicated." He leaned in, resting his chin on my shoulder, his body heat spreading against my back. "Why not? Do we both want this? Both of us desire this." I closed my eyes for a moment, savoring the sensation of his warmth, the intoxicating smell of his cologne, and the undeniable chemistry that crackled in the air between us. "I do want it," I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper, "but it's dangerous." "Sometimes the best things in life come with a little risk," he murmured, his lips brushing against my ear and sending shivers down my spine. "Let's just enjoy it while we can." I took a deep breath, my heart pounding as I considered his words. He was correct. I had been longing for this connection, this spark of passion that made me feel alive again. My heart raced with desire, and I felt myself yielding to his allure. "Okay," I whispered, turning around to face him fully. The air thickened with anticipation as I searched his eyes, filled with a mix of hope and longing just for tonight. "A triumphant smile," I whispered. The thrill of being caught danced at the back of my mind, but the allure of the moment overpowered my hesitation. Once inside my room, he closed the door behind us, locking it softly in. The atmosphere shifted instantly, the energy palpable as he turned to face me, his expression serious yet hungry. I've thought about this moment for trying to turn him on so that he could fulfill my desires and not stop. The distance between us vanished as he wrapped his arms around my waist, pulling me closer until our bodies were pressed together without another word. His lips found mine, and I melted into him. Feeling a surge of longing surged through my veins. My hands roamed inside his shirt, our kisses intensifying, and the outside world faded away, leaving only the two of us entwined in our passionate embrace. His touch, energizing every nerve ending, I moaned into his mouth as he massaged my back, moving me closer till I could feel his heartbeat against mine. "You're lovely," he said. Between kisses, his hands finding the hem of my shirt. "I can't get enough of you, Sebastian." I breathed the thrill of his touch, sending waves of heat coursing through me. "We really shouldn't just let it happen," he urged, his voice husky with desire. "Let's forget about everything else just for tonight." In one swift motion, he lifted my shirt over my head, his gaze roaming over my body with unabashed admiration. I felt a rush of vulnerability mixed with excitement as I stood before kisses down my collarbone. Each touch ignited a fire within me. My hands roamed over his back, feeling the muscles beneath his shirt, longing to touch every part of him. With that, he captured my lips again, his hands moving to my back to unfasten my bra. The feeling of the strap slipping away sent enough rush of heat through me as he pushed the fabric aside, his fingers brushing against my skin. He broke the kiss to look at me, his expression filled with awe. "You're incredible. If you're feeling daring and wild at the moment, let's make this unforgettable." His voice was heavy with need as he kissed me again, this time more passionately, probing every inch of my mouth. As our bodies entwined, the world outside went away entirely, and I lost myself in him. Our kisses growing more fervent as he pressed me against the wall, his hands exploring my body as if he were discovering every part of me for the first time, time losing all meaning as we surrendered to our desires, the thrill of being together pushing us both over the bar. I felt alive, desired, and completely consumed by the connection we shared. Eventually, he pulled back breathless and took my hand, leading me to the bed. "Are you ready?" he inquired, his eyes dark with yearning. "Yes," I muttered, my pulse pounding. With anticipation, we collapsed onto the bed together, our bodies entwined, and the thrill of what we were doing surged through me. It was a dance of passion and desire, a moment that felt both forbidden and exhilarating as we lost ourselves in each other. I knew that this was only the beginning of our passionate adventure, a thrilling secret that would change everything between us, and I was ready to embrace it fully, no matter where it led us. "What are we doing?" I feel the warmth pouring from him. "A hot kiss?" I asked, breaking the comfortable silence. The question hung in the air, heavy with implications, living kank. He replied, his voice steady for the first time in a long time. I smiled at his answer, but uncertainty gnawed at the edges of my happiness. "But what happens if someone finds out?" I asked, my voice tinged with worry. "Then we dealt with it," he said, lifting my chin to meet his gaze. "I am not frightened of pursuing what I desire." Your comments triggered a flood of heat. I couldn't shake the feeling of imminent danger that was coursing through me. Being heavy with my feelings for him, I said, "I want you too, but this isn't just fun for me, it means something to him. We deserve to be happy," and the sincerity in his speech soothed my fears. And as I moved in, catching his lips in a hot kiss, the intensity of our connection grew, and I lost myself in the moment, forgetting all of my fears as we kissed. I felt liberated. We were writing our own story, one filled with passion, desire, and the thrill of the forbidden. In the weeks that followed, we found ways to keep our connection alive amidst the chaos of our daily lives. I found myself anticipating our encounters with a mixture of excitement and apprehension, making each stolen moment feel more precious than the last. I cherished the thrill of our secret meetings, the way Sebastian would look at me, his eyes filled with desire and admiration. I couldn't escape the idea that we were living on borrowed time. dancing on the brink of a cliff. There were times when I wondered what it would mean if Jonathan found out and whether he would be upset. Will he understand, or will he regard me as a betrayer? Someone who crossed an impossible boundary one evening? As I cooked supper, my thoughts raced. Dinner time, with thoughts of Sebastian in mind, I sliced vegetables in a mechanical pattern, but my thoughts were far away. Jonathan entered the kitchen, his presence bringing me back to reality. "Hey, honey," he began, putting a light kiss on my cheek. "What's for dinner?" "Just some pasta and salad," I replied, forcing a smile. As he settled into the kitchen, our comfortable banter resumed, but I could feel a growing distance in my heart. It felt like I was wearing a mask, pretending everything was normal while a storm brewed beneath the surface. After dinner, I excused myself, claiming I was tired, and returned to my room. I sat on the side of the bed, my thoughts racing. I couldn't stop replaying the moments Sebastian and I had spent in my head. His touch, his kiss, the way he made me feel alive. I missed him immediately, and then my phone buzzed with a message. It came from Sebastian. "Can we meet tonight?" My pulse raced at the thought of meeting him again, the electric connection too irresistible to resist. I instantly answered, "Yes, I will be waiting." The night progressed, and the anticipation grew. Within me, I heard Jonathan wander around the house, watching TV in the living room, completely oblivious to what was going on behind closed doors. When the clock struck 10, I felt my heart accelerate as I heard a faint tap on my bedroom door. Audrey Sebastian's voice was barely audible, prompting me to open it. To see him standing there, looking every bit as gorgeous as I recalled the instant our eyes connected. The tension in the air crackled with electricity, and without saying anything, I drew him inside and locked the door. "What if Jonathan sees you while you close your eyes to the outside world?" I whispered, my voice laced with urgency. "He won't," he assured me, stepping closer. The warmth of his body radiated towards me, and I could feel the magnetic pull between us. "I just needed to see you before I could respond." He closed the distance, capturing my lips in a passionate kiss. The world outside faded away as I melted into him, feeling the familiar rush of desire wash over me. Our kisses grew more urgent, and I could feel the weight of everything else slip away as we bet. What if I was endangering all I had created with Jonathan? But in that moment, none of it mattered. I just wanted to be here with Sebastian, living in this delicious world where I felt wanted and alive. Hours passed and we lay entangled. In each other's arms, the weight of the world outside vanished. I knew I should be worrying about the ramifications of my life with Jonathan, but Sebastian's hug felt wonderful. The intimacy we shared was unlike anything I'd felt in years. But soon the reality of the situation set in, and I felt a stab of guilt. Sebastian whispered, quietly breaking the comfortable stillness. "What are we doing?" He gazed down at me, his countenance serious. "We're living, Audrey, and embracing something." "Beautiful, sure. But what happens if Jonathan finds out?" I questioned, my voice quivering slightly, and he answered firmly, as if that would somehow make everything okay. "Do you adore him?" I wanted to trust him because I wasn't terrified of what he said. Despite my desire to trust him, uncertainty persisted in my heart, and I couldn't abandon my life with Jonathan. "He deserves more," I replied, tears in my eyes. Sebastian softly inquired, prick at the corners of my eyes, "Do you love him?" The question hung in the air, heavy with consequences. I stated that I care about him, but it is not the same. I haven't felt this way in a long time. "Perhaps it's time to confront your true desires," he remarked. "Audrey, you deserve to be happy," he said softly. At that point, I knew how correct he was. I had been so concentrated on the implications that I had forgotten about my own enjoyment as I peered into Sebastian's eyes. "I want this." I saw not only yearning but also a mirror of what I had been lacking in my life. I finally declared, "I want this." I felt a surge of courage. "I want you." His eyes sparkled with mix of joy and relief. "Let's not waste any more time," he said, pulling me closer as our lips met once more. With each kiss, we promised ourselves to embrace this beautiful, complicated connection. I was aware that the journey ahead would be challenging and filled with obstacles. Yet in that moment, with Sebastian at my side, I felt prepared to confront any challenges that lay ahead. I was determined to relish each moment and pursue my passion.